Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. In this video today, we're going to be talking about Rekkles, all of the latest news and updates going on with him and K-Corp, obviously. The last time we checked in with Rekkles and K-Corp, something we've kind of been doing throughout the entire spring split. Obviously, Rekkles, very popular player, K-Corp, very popular team, but the LFL is not a league that we all watch a ton of. It can be hard when we're watching LEC, LCS, people even like watching LCK and LPL. Like, there's just not enough hours in the day, and obviously this isn't a league that's as covered or as popular or whatever. So last time we checked in with Rekkles and K-Corp, they were in the LFL playoffs. Things did not go so well. I can't remember exactly if they got 6-0'd or 6-1'd out of the LFL playoffs, but they lost both their playoff matchups pretty badly. I think Rekkles looked okay, if not even good. Cabo looked pretty okay, but Seiken, 113, Hantera all looked pretty bad in the LFL playoffs. And yes, K-Corp was able to qualify for an EU Masters play-in spot, but man, were they backing in to the EU Masters play-in. So in this video today, we're going to be going over all the latest and kind of what has happened since then. Some pretty big updates. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. This has been a series that it seems like people have liked throughout all the spring split. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. I think it should be fun. We got some good updates. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this. So this video leads us into the EU Masters play-ins. Obviously, it sucks, you know, K-Corp was not even able to qualify for the EU Masters main event. Now, if they make it through play-ins, yes, they will be going to the main event, but this isn't a team that should even be playing in the play-ins. This is a team that has had a ton of money spent on them. This is the back-to-back defending EU Masters champions, and yes, they did lose some very, very key players. Obviously, they lost Syncroft, they lost Targamas. Those guys are hard to replace, especially at an ERL level, but this team has Cabo. This team has Rekkles. This team is spending, you know, over 7 figures on this roster when a lot of other ERL teams, you know, are spending a fraction of that. And there's just so much riding on this season for K-Corp. Yeah, like no matter what, K-Corp's going to be okay. They're still going to be a popular team. They're still going to have a very loyal fan base. But this team has a passionate fan base. They have high expectations. They are supposed to be, you know, hitting a certain standards because again, they're spending all this money on Rekkles and Cabo. They have all these fans to keep and keep exciting. They're trying to make it back to the LEC, or not back to the LEC, but they're trying to make it into the LEC, obviously hoping that the LEC expands or that they can buy a spot or whatever. But then you also have guys like Cabo and Rekkles and all the players on K-Corp who are also trying to make a name for themselves and get to the LEC. In the case of Cabo and Rekkles, get back to the LEC and to prove to everyone that they are still of that level and that they deserve spots and they deserve to be well paid, and hopefully Rekkles one day trying to go back to Worlds and even win a world title. But again, this would take them to the EU Masters play-ins where they would need to get through their group. So here is some of the group stage games. This is a double round robin, groups of 4, so you play 6 games. The top 2 teams end up going to the knockout stage where you play a best of 3. If you finish first, you play a best of 3 against a 2 seed. If you finish second, you play a best of 3 against a 1 seed. And the winner of each of those best of 3s goes on to the EU Masters main event. So that's what we're looking at here. And the first game was K-Corp. I believe these games are in order, but they might be a little bit out of order. I'm pretty sure these are right, though. First game, if I have it correctly, was K-Corp against Zero Tenacity. Now, again, something to keep in mind is that K-Corp was massive favorites coming into this group stage. They are a Pool 1 team. They're playing against Pool 2, 3, 4 teams. Even though they finished, I think, 3rd place in the LFL, and even though, you know, they didn't have such a great playoffs, they're still massive favorites because they're playing against other EU Masters play-in teams. They're playing against other teams from much weaker leagues, much weaker ERLs, and other teams that also, you know, struggled in playoffs or weren't that great or whatever. And K-Corp was supposed to really dominate this group stage. So kind of keep that in mind, just a little context there. Game 1, overall, kind of a tough game for K-Corp. You know, they win, but yes, they win in 34.5 minutes. Rekkles going 5-2-7, Seiken 6-1-4 on the Victor, Cabo 3-4-10 on Gnar. You know, overall kind of an interesting game. And if you look at the scores from Zero Tenacity, they had some players step up big. You know, their mid laner went 5-2-5, their jungler 1-1-9 on Trundle. this kind of, gave some problems to K-Corp. Yes, they were able to pull out the win, and yes, it was, overall a good-looking win with guys like Seiken and Rekkles having very, very good games, and no one really inting too terribly or having too bad of a game, but, the games are not supposed to be this close. K-Corp, like I said, is supposed to be dominating this group. We get to the next day where K-Corp had 2 games. They were able to take down EGN Esports, and this is what it was supposed to look like. This was a dominating victory, 21-4 in kills, a 22-minute victory. Cabo going 3-0, Seiken 8-1, Rekkles 6-1. Like I said, especially 113 Seiken and Hantera had a lot to prove after the playoffs. They needed to come out and prove that they are capable and able to play really, really well. But also, they need to use this as an opportunity to build some confidence. They need to find out some picks, some strategies, some drafts that are going to work for them and how they're going to be able to beat better teams. Again, these are the teams that they're supposed to beat, but that doesn't mean you can't learn anything or take anything away from these games. So this is cool to see that, 113, a nice scoreline here. Seiken, a really nice scoreline here. Hantera had a nice scoreline here. And hopefully they're not just beating up on, bad teams. Hopefully they're actually learning something from these games and are going to use it going forward. But kind of an interesting draft from EGN, with Karma, AD carry, Pyke support, but it did not work out. This was just an absolute disaster. Final game of that day for K-Corp was another 23-minute victory, 15-5 on the scoreboard. This is more like it. This is what they're supposed to be doing. Cabochard with the Lee Sin top going 1-3-9. Not the best game from him, but pretty clean everywhere else. 2-1-6, 5-0 for Seiken, 7-0 for Rekkles. I mean, Rekkles is just popping off in the EU Masters play-ins, and this is what he's supposed to be doing. This is a class below Rekkles, but this was good. First 3 games, first round robin, K-Corp was 3-0, everything was looking good. 1 kind of close game, but 2 absolutely dominant stomps. We get into the second round robin. They were playing against MCon, LG, Ultra Gear, and 35-minute win. Again, another kind of scary one that K-Corp had to sweat out a little bit. Again, Rekkles still looking really, really good. 6-2 on the Zeri. Seiken 5-1 on the LeBlanc. But, just kind of a closer game. A 35-minute game. 13-18 in kills. But, fortunately, again, still K-Corp would pull out the victory. They would move to 4-0 in the group stage. Again, I think these games might be a little bit out of order, but at least from the games we've gone through so far, they're 4-0. Then a rematch with EGN. This one took a little bit longer. They beat them in like 22 minutes before, but this time it goes to 30 minutes. K-Corp 22-9 in the scoreline. Cabochard 6-0 on the Gnar. Rekkles 11-2 on the Zeri, just absolutely popping off. Rekkles, scoreline-wise, massive games throughout this whole kind of plans, looking really, really good again. That's the absolute form he needs to be in. And then finally, Game 6, they're going for the undefeated group stage, and they were able to pull it off. Zero Tenacity, the team that gave them trouble the first time around, they made a statement the second time around and showed that Zero Tenacity is not on their level. A 23-minute win to round out the group stage. Rekkles going 12-0 in 23 minutes on Zeri. Rekkles is absolutely in form. Hey, Zeri's a little bit busted, but Rekkles is abusing it. I know there's been people that have had, and even like Carlos has had questions about Rekkles' champion pool in the past. The fact that he's able to pick up new champions and be very, very good and dominant with them is a great sign. Again, this is dominant in the EU Masters play-ins, but hopefully this does carry over. So yes, K-Corp would go 6-0 in the group stage with a couple meh wins, but a couple really, really dominant statement wins. But overall, 6 wins, no losses. Hopefully the team is rolling. Hopefully things are going well. This would ultimately lead, to them getting their qualifying match. Again, this is a best of 3, where if you win this best of 3, you are going to the EU Masters main stage. And you can see here, they are matched up against, let me get this team's name right, the Iron Wolves. Iron Wolves this is actually kind of a scary matchup. This is not going to be necessarily an easy win for K-Corp. The Iron Wolves were in a group with Vitality B, who is a good team. Vitality B has some good players. They had a good run in the LFL. And Iron Wolves, you can see here, they went 1-1 with Vitality B. Yes, they did also drop a game to For the Win Esports, but they gave Vitality B trouble. They were able to take a game from them. So, again, K-Corp is going to be pretty big favorites in this series, but it's not like this is a free win. This is not a free pass to the EU Masters main stage. This is going to be an interesting series. You guys can see here that this is going to be taking place on April 7th. the best of 3 between K-Corp and Wolves to qualify for the EU Masters main stage. We'll have to see how Reckless and the boys can come out and do, but that is all the latest. The latest we have is that K-Corp goes 6-0, and they now have a best of 3 coming up in just a couple of days. Will be very, very interesting to follow. And again, whatever happens there, I will keep you guys up to date. See how they do in this best of 3. If they win, obviously we'll talk about the group placements for EU Masters and stuff. And if they lose, we'll talk about, you know, the huge fallout that's going to be. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Have a drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think, did you catch any of the games? Did you think K-Corp and Reckless looked good, bad? Are you worried? Are you confident for them? Do you think they'll be able to make a run to the EU Masters title? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.